Hello everyone, I welcome you all on the behalf of RGM CAT Nandyala. This is Manoj Panchal, Assistant Professor in RGM College of Engineering and Technology Nandyala. I am going to be teaching Industrial Automation and Robotics. In this series of lecture, I am going to cover unit number 4, 5 and 6. So let us begin with unit number 4. Unit number 4 is about the introduction of the industrial robots. So here we'll be discussing about the robot, its anatomy, the drive system to drive the joints and the control system, work volume, types of sensor that is required in the robot, and end effector. So let us begin with the definition of industrial robot. So in general terms, industrial robot is a automatically controlled, reprogrammable, multi-purpose manipulator. Now let us understand what is the meaning of this. So generally, in industries earlier, before the computer came into the picture, so there was the human worker. They used to do everything, right? On the assembly line or for the packaging. These are the basic major purpose of the robot. Nowadays, everything is done by the robot. Starting from the packaging or the moving the parts on the assembly line, or doing some processing operations like machining, turning operation on the lathe, or the welding. So everything is done by the robots, right? So what is a robot? The first thing is the robot. The construction it is based on the human anatomy. Anatomy means the human structure of human body, right? So when we compare with the robot with the human body, so there is a different joints here. So our body is connected to shoulder with a joint. So here we have a joint here at the shoulder, right? So there is one joint. The next is at the elbow. So this is the elbow joint, right? You can see this is the elbow joint, this is the shoulder joint, and here you have the wrist joint, right? So here with the wrist we can have different motions, and elbow joint we can have different motions, and shoulder we can have different motion, right? To copy this similar kind of motions, a robot is invented. So in general terms, a robot is a programmable machine. A robot is a programmable machine that possesses certain anthropomorphic characteristics. So here the word anthropomorphic meaning is human-like. So it has the human-like ability or human-like characteristics. So whatever the motions, the human joints, the joints means the human joint basically is the shoulder joint and the elbow joint and the wrist joint. That motion that can the shoulder, wrist and elbow joint can do, that similar motion a robot can do. So that is the basic idea behind the construction of the robot. Yet it is copied from the anatomy of the human. Right? So that word here is anthropomorphic. The meaning is that human-like characteristics. Right? The next is why robots are important. Right? So the robot basically invented to replace the human worker when there is a health hazards, right? When there is an environment, so suppose the humans has to work in the nuclear power plant, or where there is a chance of radiation exposure, or otherwise you can say in some chemical factory when there is a chance of human health, right, because of the health hazard. So this robot can replace the human wherever there is a health hazard, and they can save the life. The second thing is the accuracy and consistency. So as the human being, we have certain extent of accuracy. Beyond that, we are not accurate. And the second thing is consistency. So maintaining similar kind of accuracy with the same rate, the same consistency, it is very difficult to achieve by the human. While the robot can do same work repeatedly with the same speed and the same accuracy. the next feature that a robot has is it is reprogrammable. So whatever motion the robot is doing, just you change the program and the motion or the control characteristics can be changed with the help of the program. The another thing that is very important to see here is interfacing. So the computers are controlled with the help of computer. So whatever information we need to pass through, so because of the interfacing, because of the computer control, it can be passed through the other computers. So there is a possibility of interfacing between the computers, and other person can also control the robots with the help of the another computer because of the transfer of the control function or the information, right? Next thing, we'll discuss about the anatomy of the robot. As we already discussing, we were discussing about the anatomy. Anatomy is nothing but the structure of the human body, the joints. When you see the human skeleton, so we have the different joints at the different point. So here, when you see the neck joint is there is one joint at the neck. Then you have the number of joint in the spine. So our concentration will be on the joints that is there in between the shoulder, elbow, and the wrist. The other terms that is used for the robot is manipulator. Robot and robot manipulator are the same thing. The terms are used interchangeably. It means that the both terms are used. Sometimes it is called robot simply, sometimes it is called manipulator, or sometimes it is called robot manipulator. So all things are same. Do not confuse between these things. Right? Now when we see the definition, a robot is nothing but a connection between joints, right? So when we compare with the human anatomy, just see your joint at the shoulder, elbow, and the wrist. So this is called wrist for your information. So this wrist, see here, you can see on the small screen, my video. See here. So this is called wrist. So here we have joint. So this joint is wherever there is a connection. That's simply a joint. So here this is called link. My wrist is called link. Here is the joint. Another, I have the bone here, that is the link. So and another joint is here at the elbow. So this is my elbow. So this is the joint here. See here, I can move my hand. And here is the one more joint that is called shoulder joint. So the bones are the links, and the connection is the joint. So basic definition is the basic understanding. For your basic understanding, the links are the bones. If you compare with the human anatomy, and the joints are your connections between the bones, right? Now similar concept is used here for the robots. So now when we see the manipulator is consists of joints and links. See, already we have discussed with the example of the human body. And what is the purpose of joints? Joints provide the relative motion, right, between the links. So joints provide the relative motion between the links, and the links are the rigid members. So when you compare with the bones are the rigid, right? So these are the rigid members. And what kind of motion that can the joint can provide? So there may be only two motions. There are two motions only, linear and the rotary. So here, see here, so we have rotary motion and the linear motion, right? Linear means is in the straight line, and rotary is, in rotary we have different kind that we will see in the subsequent slides. And these motions will provide different degree of freedoms, right? Degree of freedom is nothing but the movement, means so how many in how many directions you certain link or certain part can move. So that is simply a degree of freedom. Now we'll see the anatomy. So anatomy is so manipulator is consist of different joints and links. We have seen that. Now when we discuss about the sections or the parts that a robot is made up of, so generally it is divided into three things. So first is body and arm, The another one is wrist assembly. The third one is the end effector. So here with the example you can see here. So this is the only body and arm. There is no wrist assembly here, and there is no end effector. So body and arm is, see, when you compare with the human, so the figure is there in the next slide that we see with the figure. See, here is the figure. So you compare with the human. So this is the human shoulder connections, and here you have the wrist assembly. So there are two things here. So no need to remember anything. Just observe your shoulder joint, elbow joint, and the wrist joint. So that is all about the definition of the robot. That is how it is constructed. So that is the anatomy of robot. The next thing comes is the motor and everything, sensor and everything. That we'll see. But here just understand how the movement is accomplished, right? So here one joint is here at the shoulder, right here. So with the shoulder joint we can have the rotation, right? See, you can rotate your shoulder. So there is one motion. You can move your shoulder in the horizontal direction, vertical direction, and you can rotate your shoulder also. So whatever motion you can do with the shoulder joint, that we can do with the robot. So we can include different joints here, and we can try to incorporate the same kind of motions here. The next one is the here at the elbow and the here. So this whole thing starting from the shoulder joint to the wrist, to this point, this is called the wrist. So up to the wrist point it is called body and arm. So this up to this point it is called body and arm. Then you have the wrist. So this hand is called a wrist, right? Our hand is called the wrist, right? So with the wrist you can have three motions. See, you can go, see my hand, you can go like this. So this is called flexion, extension, right? Then you can have radial deviation. So you can move your hand like this, and another motion you can do is like this. So this is the three motion we can do with the wrist. So this whole part is called wrist. From this joint to this tip of the finger, it's called wrist, right? So this whole thing is wrist. At the end of wrist, there are fingers here, right? We have the fingers, the thumb, everything. So what is the purpose of our fingers and thumb? The basic purpose is just we can hold something, we can lift something, we can eat, whatever holding or placing some part from one place to another place. That is done with the help of the finger. So purpose of the finger is to hold something, right? So that is the third part. So what are the three parts we have? The body and arm, the wrist assembly, and the end effector. End effector is nothing but the fingers. So just it is the analogy between the human body and arm, human shoulder and the arms assembly, and with the robot. So analogy here is, we can see here body and arm is called from the tip of the shoulder to the wrist joint. That is called body and arm. At the wrist joint we have the wrist assembly, and at the end of the wrist we have the fingers. So this finger is called end effector. So three things: body and arm, wrist assembly, and the end effector. So these three comprises the manipulator or the robot. So I hope you understood these things. Now to provide the motion, different kind of joints are used. Generally we provide two types of motions: translatory motion and the rotary motion. For providing the translation motion, we have two types of joint: linear joint and orthogonal joint. While to provide the rotary motion, we have rotational joint, the twisting joint, and the revolving joint. These we'll see with the help of the sketches. Now here, just you see here, we provide some notation. So it is easy to understand. I mean, for easy flow of the information, just we can write the linear joint as L. So just some things we follow so that easy to transfer the information, right? Nothing but just the short form. You can say the linear joint is called L, orthogonal joint O, rotational joint R, T, twisting joint, revolving joint is V. So this here is only difference is revolving joint is V because the R is already used. So here they have used V. So otherwise nothing special about these things. Just notation is simply the short form, just initial of the your joint name. The linear joint L, orthogonal joint O, rotational joint R, twisting joint T, revolving joint V. Right. So now next we see is the motion. Right. So the joints, different kind of joints. So for translation motion, we use linear joint and the orthogonal joint. So linear joint, simply your sliding pair. You might have seen in the kinematics of machinery. So this joint is simply you have the body and you have the link. So the linear motion between two links. So this here link is, you can see here, is this link is your one link, right? And this is the simply, if you see the example of piston cylinder, so this is the simply nothing but the piston cylinder motion, right? Simply. So here you have the cylinder and this is the piston. See, with the dotted line here shown here is the motion. So this is the initial position, this is the final position. See here, just the motion, right? So simply it is a piston cylinder kind of joint. It is called linear joint, or you can call it sliding joint, denoted with the letter L, capital letter L, and the motion is linear motion. The next one is orthogonal joint. So name orthogonal is meaning is perpendicular. So here, see here, the link is, this link is perpendicular. This link is one, two links are there. So this and these links are kind of perpendicular to each other. So here you have the input link. Here you do one motion. Here the output link will provide the another motion. Means the output motion will be provided with the help of the output link. The next, to provide the rotational motion, we have three kind of rotational joint. The rotational joint is simply, first one is rotational joint, denoted with the help of letter R. Simply it is a turning pair or turning joint, right? Simply the motion between the, for example, take as an example of a door and the wall. So door and the wall is connected with the help of turning pair or turning joint. So there you can see this motion. So this is called the rotational joint. Simply this motion. See, this is motion is simply the chain, your cycle chain, bicycle chain. So that is the motion. If you cut the bicycle chain and you see the motion, so this kind of motion you can do. So there is a pin joint. Simply a pin joint. Twisting joint. So here there is some difference between the motion. So here you have two links. Sorry, here two links, and the connection is, it is connected with the help of some kind of joint, and it is this kind of motion. So these are two links, and it is doing this kind of motion. This is a twisting motion, like this, right? And the another thing is revolving motion. The next one is revolving. It is denoted with the V, and the motion is, see, just observe the elbow. See, so this is the motion. This is the motion. Straight. This is the one link, and another link. This is the motion. So this is the, your motion is revolving joint, right? The notation we already seen. See, so L is for linear, O for orthogonal, R for rotational, T for twisting, and V for revolution, right? So these are the joint symbols or the notation used to denote the motion. One more thing, for example, the motion, the robot is denoted with the help of this thing, PLR. So motion the robot can have is twisting, sliding, linear motion, translating motion, rotation. So these are 3 degrees of freedom the robot can have. So these 3 are motion of the body and arm assembly. Now if you want to represent the motion of the wrist assemblies, you need to include a column. Here the column and then motion is TR. So wrist is having 2 motion, twisting and rotation. So we have total number of 5 number of motions, right? 5 degrees of freedom. Next we see the kinematic configuration of body and arm in the next lecture. Just for your introduction, we have 5 type of body and arm configuration that are generally used in the industries that we see in the lecture number 2. Okay, thank you everyone. And just for your recap, what we have seen today is the definition of the robot, what is a robot, the analogy with of the robot with the human anatomy, the structure of the robot. The robot consists of 3 things: the body and arm, the wrist assembly, and the end effector, right? And the types of joint used to do this kind of motion. We have seen these 5 types of joints, right? Now next lecture we are going to see the body and arm configuration. Okay, thank you.